Hello everyone. One of the questions I get asked most often is why I use Phthalo Blue Red Shade over the green shade. So in today's quick video we're going to be taking a look at the reason why. So here I'm painting out my Rembrandt Phthalo Blue Red Shade, which is PB151. And then alongside it, I'll be painting out Holbein's Phthalo Blue Yellow Shade, which is PB153. PB153 is the green shade of Phthalo Blue. Holbein just named theirs Yellow Shade for some reason. Now, I don't know if you can see it in the video very clearly, but the Holbein PB15 is actually quite a lot greener. I think it's easier to see the difference when they're dry. Yeah, the difference is quite clear. So when I first started painting, I used to have Phthalo Blue Green Shade, Cobalt Blue and Ultramarine in my palette, but I'd rarely ever used the Phthalo as I found it too hard to control and I just used Cobalt Blue for everything. But of course Cobalt Blue is quite an expensive pigment and I was burning through it so fast I wanted to actually learn how to use the cheaper Phthalo pigment as my main blue. The problem was, of course, I found it far too green. I remember using it to paint a sky and I just realized I'd never like it. It like had a horrible acidic look to me. And I even felt like I could see that acidic look in any mixes I produced with it. So yeah, I had to find something different, and that's what brought me to the red shade. Now, I don't want to make it seem like I consider the green shade to be a bad paint. It's used and it's recommended by many artists. In fact, I'd probably recommend it myself in a larger palette if you use like ultramarine and cobalt with it. But I like to use a more limited palette with maybe one or two blues. I mean, the green shade does mix a very nice clean green, but personally I don't have much need for clean greens. I tend to want them to be a bit more olive leaning. I also find that I prefer the way that the Phthalo Blue Red Shade mixes with the other colours in my palette. I tend to have both Indian Red and Light Red Oxide in my palette, and I really do like the different greys I can mix. I mean, when I use the green shade, it also gives some interesting mixes, but I don't know if you can see it. It still has that underlying kind of acidic green tone. Yeah, for me, it's just not very nice. I've seen a few people say that they find the Phthalo Blue Red Shade to be too similar to Ultramarine Blue. Yeah, I don't agree with that at all, of course. I mean, as you can see here, Phthalo Blue Red Shade is much, much cooler. It's even a bit cooler than the Cobalt Blue that I've got painted here on the right. Okay, so there you go. The reason I use the red shade rather than the green is because I prefer the colour for when I paint skies, and I also prefer the way it mixes with the other colours in my palette. Pretty simple, really. So what about you? Are you a Phthalo Blue red or green shade user? And why do you prefer one over the other? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye bye.